Scaramouche, will you do the fandango?
The lightning.
Meet Galileo,
Galileo.
Galileo.
Galileo. Figaro.
I'm telling you, we really need to go. We really need to go, like, do some karaoke and, like, do some dancing and find Arcada. I think Arcada would be the place to go. Remember, you
I need to go
cultural.
there. I need to go there for fucking.
What's your language?
I need to go there for air gas. I need CO2.
You are full of
we
air
remember
and
you, me, and
gas.
Toltrol went and went dancing that night. Hey guys, this is Dandy from Death to Lefties. How you guys doing on this amazing, beautiful Thursday? And you know, today I'm joined here with Isaiah and Ben. And at about 5 o'clock, we have a really special guest joining us. So hopefully you'll stay tuned for that and just enjoy the rest of the show. We'll talk to you guys soon. Today's about inspiration. Who really drives your bus?
So you think you can?
Oh, man. And then, I've never got one of these. You know, you see kids come home with, oh, dude.
Just they gave you a participation medal?
Now that you look at it like that,
I just popped your balloon.
now that you look at it like that, you know what? We're gonna hold on to that for a different day. When I have a different balloon to bring in. My balloon has been deflated. I'm not. Dude. We're gonna get into that in a minute.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna get into that in a minute. Oh
Sorry,
my
man,
god.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
You're a good participator.
That's the coach's medal. Thank you. I didn't participate. I coached. Anyone can see. Oh, what a beautiful opportunity, yeah. Today?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
Every day's a
Many
beautiful
opportunities.
opportunity.
Beautiful. Hey, Mark. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Oh, this guy, Mark. Oh, one of my favorite people in the world. I tell you. Oh, 10 seconds.
Welcome to DTL Crescent City. How you doing today? It's a gorgeous one out there. What's going on, Dandy? How you doing?
I am amazing as usual. Pretty amazing. How are you, Benny?
Oh, doing great. It's a gorgeous one out there.
Zay?
Zay?
Loving life.
Oh man. Did you think this morning when you woke up that it was gonna be this pretty today?
I actually did because I was out last night at about 2 in the morning and it was clear and beautiful and just got chilly. But I knew that there was going to be no clouds in the morning.
So,
like that beautiful sunshine.
really quick, I'm glad that you said that because watching is one of my friends and one of my mentors in the military, Mark Stevenson, a man that we called Spanky. And this man had a way of being able to look at things as a new day. And that's one thing I really took from him, as how to look at every day as a new opportunity, a new day to fix something, to fix yourself, and move forward.
To be better.
So, Mark, thank you, brother. I love you, Spank. But yeah, what a beautiful. It's been a beautiful week since last week, right? I don't know if you guys have been following in the news on either in the papers or on Facebook or anything, but we've had a tragedy here in Crescent City. We had somebody go missing, and then they were found in their home 2 months later. And so it shocked a lot of people. It shook the community. And so I know that in a lot of smaller communities, even like I said before, everything that is in a big community, we have in ours, whether it's positive or negative. And unfortunately, this is one of those negatives that has really bonded the community and been able to support everybody that's been affected. So thank you, Delnor, the Sheriff's Department. They really did a really good job of their apprehension of the party involved, and so many prayers and blessings going out to the families involved and the friends of Miss Emily. So you will be sorely missed, taken away before her time. So, but you know, what can we learn from this as a community? What can we learn from this as a people? And not only how do we push forward and support those that have now lost somebody so close?
Well, you know, the one question I have for you is, you know, you said it took 2 months to find her, like at her place? Is that-
Yeah.
So, okay, so that sort of goes back to this whole roots and community thing. Like, how can we call ourselves a community? 2 months, a neighbor never checked?
There's
I think about that though.
I know, but there's a lot more that we don't know that has gone on, and you know so we can, rather than kind of pointing blame and like trying to hash up all that.
I'm
in the
not
last
saying
2
to
months,
point any blame
I
at
know.
anyone. I'm just saying that, you know, you're asking how this can bond us together as a community. Well, we need to look out after each other
Yeah,
more. You know,
definitely.
this is a
Definitely.
harsh reminder of how much we need to, you know, like come together as
Yes.
people and, you know, talk to one another.
So
You know, I think that should lead into, you know, the beauty of possibility of having some more, you know, community news and stuff on this radio station about what's going on, because
funny you should mention that,
Yeah.
because 15 minutes ago, I don't know if you heard this, but Mike Thornton just retired from something, and he is going
True
to
North.
True North. Oh,
Yes.
thank you. So Mike Thornton just retired from True North, and he's going to come and do a news thing for 101.1 KFUG, and that is awesome. I mean,
it's amazing.
so we'll be able to have maybe be able to come on another day a week and kind of learn some more or help out, and you know, bringing the community together. What else can we do to really bring this community together
And inform, you know.
and informed in a positive light? You know, we have a guest coming on today who, by the universe and by my friend Zay, by my brother here, a mentor, kind of an emotional and spiritual person that has guided me not only in the book publication, but that next step. And you know, we start a program or we start an idea, plateaued. So it's like going to results, but you're not really feeling it after a while, and then you're not seeing or feeling. So it takes another person to say, hey, what if you switch this up? What if you were to try this one now and stop doing that? You've already reached this goal.
Yeah, sometimes you have to shift your perception a
Yes.
little bit, and that's all it takes is
Yes.
someone to maybe just go, hey, look over there.
Exactly.
Instead of, you know, looking straight ahead, you're like,
Well, we look at a
Over
pop
there.
can from the top, it's a circle. Look at it from the side, you know, it's
Yeah.
more of a rectangle.
Yeah.
You know, they're two different things depending on which way you're looking at it.
Well, the universe brought me Will Merriweather, who really inspiring author, a really close friend of mine, and he's an instructor at College of the Redwoods. So he guided me a little bit in the publication part. But our guest today at about 5 o'clock, I'm excited. I love hearing him talk. I love his story and the book that he wrote.
books.
The books. Oh,
Yeah.
books plural.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some of the inspiring things that he's put forth in me as to what needs to come next.
Right. Our suffering, he has truly found that inner peace, you know, that we all long for, I feel like.
Yes.
Just that inner silence that you can go to, you know.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
calmness in the storm.
Yeah, the calmness within, you know.
And we have things that happen in our lives. People in the military, you know, we have these tragedies, and we have PTSD. There is and another reason for the high suicide rate amongst vets and you know, those associated. Well, really, just in general, anybody with PTSD, that suicide rate is really high. And so, what tragic thing has happened, and what is it that? How do we rise above that? If it's that severe, that we are in the dumps, what can we do? Who can we talk to or see that is going to help us? You know, can we can we reach out? Can we be that voice to somebody? And if we times when somebody's distraught or in distress, when they really need help, somebody's walking down the street and we're afraid to smile at them. Still, people, I have walked around town, I've jogged around town, I've said hi to people that just still walk by in their haze.
Well, they got the blinders on.
And that, like, please, people, smile. It is not hard. It takes less muscles to smile than it does to frown.
True.
And if you are embarrassed of your smile, at least give a nod or a wave. I understand that we do have a dental epidemic. I'll call it an epidemic. I mean, hey, they're calling it a national emergency to put up a wall, right? So we have a dental epidemic amongst the citizens of not only smaller communities but of the nation. And so if you're afraid to smile, give a head nod or a smirk or a grin or something. Acknowledge the world. It's there for you. Grab it, grasp it, every opportunity that you can. Like it, and it doesn't take much. Smile, world. Smile.
Open your heart to kindness.
Oh, please, no.
Because it transcends. Love breaches all. So I feel like as long as we keep ourselves in tune with that frequency of love, it grows.
Yeah.
And we radiate that.
Yep.
And as we put ourselves out there more, so too the others around us will start to feel that.
So with this loss in this
that's my goal.
Right.
At least that's my goal.
Well, with this loss in this community, it brought light. Several years ago, we also had somebody getting released. So if you see on the back of vehicles, number 44, and that's what that's from. And I think that that's still an ongoing. So it's one of those.
Not too long ago, there was a hit and run. Someone riding their bike down Northcrest that was a roommate of someone that I knew.
And did that go? Is that still pending too?
I don't know because unfortunately that person left as well.
We've had and we still have people missing, and we still have lost. So we're still grieving from these other experiences and learning from them. And then here comes another one.
I mean, those are the trials and tribulations of life.
Yeah. Well,
which
I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm not good with loss. I'm not. I take loss very terribly. So
that's where you need to work on. And
accepting it more.
Accepting. Yeah.
Well,
and
I can accept it. Doesn't mean I have to like it.
Well, no.
Well, you love swimming, okay, and you love swimming the Smith River.
Oh.
Now think about this. Now life is like swimming in that river.
There's no chocolates.
Well, go through that some of those rapids, and unless you swim with it and go with the flow, you can sit there and fight it all day, and you're either gonna wear yourself out or hurt yourself.
So anybody that knows me knows I love to swim. I'm like, who did you say I'm like? I'm not Superman. I'm Aquaman. I'm Aquaman, right? So I love being in the water. I love I'd rather swim it and just kind of ride the rapid than sit in a boat and paddle on top of it. So this summer, we really need to do that 3 or 4 day thing for Gateway, and go up to the Smith and talk to what's his name up there at Rock Creek Ranch. It's Anthony? No.
I am the worst person.
We're gonna have to go up there because it's the point of contact for Ron. I'm sure that we could probably cast off of there. Rock Creek Ranch is an amazing camp experience. It's on the river. It's off of 199 Second Bridge, right? North Fork? South Fork.
South Fork, yeah.
South Fork Road.
South Fork.
It's South Fork is Yeah, well, I've walked it.
Beautiful. I've walked it.
I've walked it.
I've walked.
Oh, I've walked from
Oh, man.
inside Crescent City all the
That'd be
way
fun
up
to
past
bike.
Sand Camp.
I want to bike that. I would love to.
I longboarded
would
that
love
one
to.
day.
Oh
Remember?
yeah. Didn't you? You didn't fall either, did you?
No.
And you
No.
did it in flip flops.
Yeah. Yeah, with those big giant cliffs and
Oh.
listening to my music, on my way to, camp
That's-
counseling.
But it's beautiful up there.
Oh
in the summer.
man. Well,
Yeah.
and then you can go straight from Rock Creek Ranch and down to Sand Camp. It's what, a half an hour float? 45-minute float?
Maybe about 45 from Rock Creek.
Rock Creek, about 45-minute float, and for me, it's a 30-minute swim. Give me something to ride the rapids over. That's all I need, right? And so this year, come out. Let's do a 4-day raft overnight experience. And Gateway Education Counselors, I need you. I know you're listening. I know you're watching. We need to do this, like really. The Emerald Caves. Google the Emerald Caves. Google it. Beautiful. I want to swim that one. So
I did the middle fork of the Smith 2 years ago
ooh.
on a whitewater rafting trip,
Uh-huh.
and right there when you come into Gasky, there's this lane on the river, and there's literally like 70 waterfalls, and they have like this grotto. You can go back behind this waterfall and hang out behind it while you're in the boat.
You know how many
It
waterfalls?
was pretty amazing.
That's.
Yeah, it was. I had never seen anything like that.
I wonder if that waterfall off of 199. I wonder if that's frozen.
No,
You don't think so?
no, that water rushed us way too fast.
Whoa. Yeah. Well, I don't
This
know.
isn't the Arctic.
I don't know. It's been. It's
Doesn't
been
get that.
That was
Brisk.
questionable the other day.
brisk. What was it? It was 1 degree.
I don't know,
Celsius.
but at least the little snowflakes appeared from my Weather Channel
I
app.
was at the courthouse this morning, and the lady asked me how I was doing. I told her I was doing really well, and I'm glad it's not 1 degree. She said, "You got that cold?" I said, "Yep, in Celsius." And she just chuckled at me. It's oh man, it feels like it's 93. No, it's only 28. Talking about that's below freezing. Celsius.
Celsius.
Excelsior.
And it's funny that you bring up the metric system because, as a person that likes to engineer stuff and I, mostly did imports and stuff like that. And now, even if you get an American car, half of it's in metric, half of it's in standard. But the standard system, everywhere else in the world uses this metric system that, is easy because it's, move decimals, it's all in tens. I've gotten really good at understanding the decimal system. And yeah, it's just, I always have found that goofy.
I am not one for the Dewey Decimal System. I am not. I like fractions. I can do fractions. I like it simple, and I think that's another reason why America became great is because we got rid of everything that was complicated in the beginning.
In the beginning,
there was no complication.
Well,
we started off with a clean slate.
Well, that's like one of my favorite things to say right.
243 years later.
Well, think about it. So, in the mindset of the general populace right now, it's we can make more laws to better protect us and but inherently that system is flawed right there because, well, for one, we already have all these laws that we don't even know about. We don't even know half the laws that are there.
Andrew Yang 2020.
And then on top of that, no president ever. Yeah. But the funny thing is it's just like the whole debate of oh well, I don't trust the government and we keep the guns. Oh well, then the government would. But so it's one of these things, and it goes back to the tragedy that just happened and stuff like that. If we keep trying to fix control structures, like things that are set in place to control people,
Right.
not to assist or help, to control, until we fix those or fix people, that stuff is not gonna, And we don't need stuff like that. I'm not saying that we don't need laws and everything needs to be like that because, of course we need some guidelines. Like, hey, you come to this bar, like, come on, there's no gambling, there's no fighting,
We need to open the hearts of not only the people and the government, but the world.
Mm-hmm.
And religiously, whatever aspect it is. And people want to blame religion or blame government or... I'm going to tell everybody right now a secret. We are all to blame.
Mm-hmm.
The whole trifecta of it all. And when we finally accept that, and we stop blaming somebody, we're about to do these presidential debates, and they're going to have a panel of Democrats and a panel of Republicans, and they're going to be beating each other down to try to get that one vote.
Well,
and or try to get that one job. Well, what if instead of beating down each other, they, like I've been talking about, what if they built up? And then whoever it is that has the most, they're going to know. We're going to know. We need to get away from the what's better for the politicians and what's better for the government and what's better for the people. The people don't need somebody that's going to badmouth everybody else all day long, every day. They need somebody that is going to be for growth. And not
And
divide
positive
the positive growth.
Positive.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as we have positive growth, the world is an oyster. There's a huge pearl in the middle of it for everybody. What is our idea of that
well,
pearl?
that's a big thing that you bring up right there.
How much
is-
of that chunk of that pearl do you want?
Well, see,
I just
but
wanna touch it.
we've been all taught that there's only so much pearl for everyone.
Yeah.
Which is completely false. We can all live a lovely lifestyle, be able to travel, be able to enjoy nice things, But the thing about it is we're taught that no, you got to fight and you got to be the best. And there's only there's only a little tiny chunk of people that get to do that. That's not true. If we all going back to the building people up, and the one thing that I got to say is. We can elect whoever we want into politics right now, and they can have the best ideas in the world. But unless that sparks something off in the people to make them want to change and do something, nothing will ever change. Because if we expect a system to change us, the only way a system is going to change us is it's going to enslave us even further. It's sort of like one of those traps when the more you pull, the more you get stuck.
The Chinese figure
trap.
traps.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that on Adam's Family when he's
with
stuck.
the two dragons.
Mm-hmm.
See, they're making a new Adam's Family movie,
Oh.
and it's gonna be like a Nightmare Before Christmas style.
What?
I think like either
Is Tim Burton doing it?
I don't know if Tim Burton's doing it, but I've seen that they're remaking the actual Addams Family into like maybe it's claymation, but it's probably like visually animated, Pixar or something.
If they're gonna go like totally reverse of that, I think that they should have Mr. Gomez Adams. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger should play him.
Dude, I can't see anyone, but what was the guy?
Raul Julia.
Raul Julia.
Yeah, wasn't he beautiful? Oh man, he was what an amazing tragic loss, but what an amazing soul and actor and which brings me here in our community. We have several acting things. There's like the Found
Found Agate Theater.
Repertory Theater.
As I hold an agate in my hand.
Right. Oh yeah, don't get me started on that. That was a find. So we have that, and Ron and Kirsten put on a camping one for kids as well. The Lighthouse Repertory Theater, they do things, but there's not really. I'm one for the community. We all know this, right? And I'm one for reading and getting people involved in not only the community but using your imagination and building the world moving forward. Our community, Delaware County, we need to come up with something. I am sad. I looked at the Chamber of Commerce calendar. There's not a lot. It's kind of blank. We have First Friday's not even on there. And
They don't-
there's
they don't.
not a lot. So what can we do? I'm gonna go down to first five and see some of the things that we can maybe put on the calendar. What other things are going on in the community to bring maybe not only awareness, but get people out talking and not just having beers and doing whatever, but what kind of social things can we do? So it got me thinking for Coos Bay. I know that they have their first Friday. We're going to go there April 1st. But March 10th down in Humboldt again in Ferndale is the Foggy Bottom Milk Run. I'm excited. I'm ready. Oh man, I am excited. It's cold. I am pumped. Man, I think I could do under 32:19.
Nice.
I think I can.
I'm sure you can.
I'm gonna go under 32. I guarantee this. If I have to rent a taxi for the last mile, I'm gonna get under 30. I'm just kidding. Just kidding, Haley. Just kidding. The March 16th. So March 16th, I want to go ahead and set this in stone for our potluck barbecue. Right. Another
Weather
reason.
permitting.
Weather permitting. Hopefully, there's the polar vortex hasn't reached us.
Right.
That would be.
I
terrible.
think it did reach us and is starting to go
Yeah,
away.
it's starting to pass.
No,
now.
no more snowflakes on the weather thing. So
Hmm.
still got rain, but I mean it is winter. We need that water.
We do. But I think from 2 to 4 p.m. it would be a good time, and come down for some good conversation, some food. It is a barbecue potluck, so bring a dish.
Maybe
Yeah.
earlier. Maybe a little earlier.
Maybe.
Because
Mhm.
it, maybe like 11 to
11 to 4.
no, 11 to 3. Just give you that extra hour of being in the warmth of the sun.
Well, we'll be down there and have it. We'll get there at 11. We'll start cooking. We'll start setting everything up, and when people show up, they show up.
Yeah.
And then we'll leave between 3 and 4. People show up late. You missed out. Catch us on the next one. But it'll be a good thing, for the conversation that we're talking about, how to build the community, get people together, have some good laughs. Let's
Because
talk
the
to
one
Ron.
thing that I think a lot of people fail to realize is when we look at these outside sources for information, there's usually a direction or an agenda of some sort. And the big thing, if you look, is dividing us up, because if we all come together, we're very, very powerful.
Yep.
So, once you start talking to people, and just talk to people, and have it in a fun social setting where it's not weird or awkward, and you're going to start to understand that
There's way more people
Oh,
thinking
a
Yes.
lot of people, we all think that we might have, different views on certain stuff, and that is completely okay.
Don't judge a book ever by its cover.
But
You can't.
it's funny, you can sit down with someone that's in their 80s, 90s, and have a good conversation about some stuff that you never thought in a million years
Yeah.
you'd be able to talk about, and vice versa. Younger people,
I think that's because the age we're in. We're in this age of information where all people, if you're interested,
a great awakening.
Yes,
we can
very much.
we can see the information right before our eyes now. It's not like you have to go to a library and sit in stacks and read all day long.
So,
You
yeah.
have ability to have the information right before your eyes, in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it puts all people at a different level. Everyone is leveled up as far as information reception.
So come down March 16th from 11 to 3 or 4 for some kickball, some food. I want to see if we can get Ron Cole to come down and give a little disc golf instruction. And then that would maybe he can help us set up for a disc golf tournament for one of the following things. And if we have a great turnout, well, it just means we've got to do it again.
Yeah.
And if we don't have a great turnout, well, I just get to have more brisket tacos. I really am thinking about making brisket tacos.
Well, I told you I got plenty of meat.
Okay.
My friend just slaughtered her cattle. So
And most of all, folks, let's make this about the kids and about growth, right? So if you know that somebody's going to be there that maybe you know is going to have a problem, try to leave it at the door. Leave it home. We don't need it. right? Like we need to set a good example
Hugs
for
and smiles.
for children.
Hugs and
Hugs and smiles,
Mhm.
and they have Hershey hugs, so maybe we'll go
Yeah,
get a
right.
couple of bags of those, and we'll have something fun. So come on out, enjoy some of that. March 16th. Um, the community. Like, how else can we build it other than just kind of putting it out there? What's your favorite restaurant in Crescent City?
I like Marlowe's a lot.
Do you?
I like gyros.
Oh,
So, I mean, it's the only place I can get a gyro. You know, I'm a Midwestern boy from Chicago. We got the best gyros
Oh,
outside
yeah.
of. I don't know. We probably got the best gyros.
well, my friend,
We have
There's-
in Greektown.
there,
Oh man.
There
Best
is
gyro
this-
on the-
there
on the
is this
planet.
country, there is this
Mr.
place
Beefies.
that invented them, right? And you might have heard them. It's a place called Greece.
Yeah, they don't have like fake lamb.
No, they don't. No, they do not have processed lamb. That's with all-
It's grilled on this hot
Oh.
grate.
we got to go. I gotta take you guys to Greece. We really got to go over to Turkey and Greece.
Yeah, my sister said the Greek Isles are one of the most beautiful places.
Some-
Oh, the Mediterranean is
Yeah,
just.
I mean,
The
yeah,
people
bar
and the
none.
food alone, like
Yeah.
it's worth going.
She
You know-
she went to go there for 3 days and ended up staying 3 months.
What?
You know,
That's crazy.
Sounds about right. That
Yeah.
sounds the way you should be able to do stuff.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know?
Well,
Well, and that's another thing too. Think about this. If we, think about the ramifications, and I mean positive ramifications of growing stronger as a community and stronger with the people around you, that you could go on 2-3 month, travels and
Know your stuff's okay.
Oh, yeah.
everything's good.
Oh yeah.
Because I think, with this whole, thing of, people like the younger generation starting to want to live in like RVs and vans and tiny homes.
Tiny homes.
We're starting to understand that like this material thing isn't what it's, cut out
Excess
to
is
be.
not the best.
Well, and on top of it, that like, I mean, nomadic lifestyle is a bit more fun. I'm not saying don't put your roots down. I always talk about roots. And you got your little homestead, but at the same time, we have this beautiful world to explore.
Mm-hmm.
And why should we be stuck in a cubicle staring at a computer processing paperwork so it makes you have to wait 5 to 12 years to get your appeal done?
Yeah.
Like,
Let's leave that for a different day.
yeah,
I'm on the positive uptake of that. I'm having more faith in the.
But it
being
is
successful.
positive. But it is positive because look, you just went in there and you found that there's a new person working there, sweet as all can be. So right there,
Just takes
that
one
just
person.
that just strengthened the community in your eyes and
Yeah,
in
your
your
belief.
world. So you're gonna start going in there possibly and talking to, you know what I mean?
And I'm not even a member of the VFW thing yet, right?
But they have a
So-
cantina that you can
Yeah.
go have a beer in.
Yeah, well, I can. I want to be a member. I just don't want to walk in there and be.
You are
some-
a member.
I want to be a member.
You want to pay dues.
I do. I missed the AO Association. Hey, Mark, I'm going to get at you after sometime this weekend and see if I can get back in the AO Association. That was a fun place.
Yeah.
It really was. But it's being part of something, and especially like the Band of Brothers and having those people. Old vets are fun.
Oh yeah.
Old vets are
They
fun
love to tell
stories.
stories.
Oh,
The
man.
shooting club that I was a part of was a VFW shooting club, and me and my buddy were the only non-vets
Yeah.
in the whole club.
That's how it was for me.
The
growing up.
first day I showed up there, it was sort of funny because I brought some of my toys, and I showed up. I had a tack vest on and I had an AK, and one of them's like, "Oh boy, you look like you're ready to go to war." And he's like, "I heard you're a good shot," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm a decent shot." And he gave me this. It was like a 458 Swift, or it was an old Indian elephant rifle or something, and. There were just the stories, got to, see some of the, original, the bar that the guy, the Browning bar rifle that he carried around in World War
Wow.
II. And, it's just, and going back to the, strengthening the community. Well, that camaraderie, that band of brothers, that feeling that you get. Yes, you get more like, the same sex thing, like, yeah, hanging out, with a guys club, to get some masculine energy. And, then you have the feminine side, you have women's clubs. But at the same time, if we strengthen the community, it'll be like, dude, everyone's got your back again. Like, oh man, you
The
are
red
part
door.
of something.
Well, also what we were talking about the other day about just having that sense that someone's always there for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And have, like we were talking about, the block parties.
Ah.
Well,
When
I
was the last
remember-
time?
I remember when I was young,
When I lived in Chicago,
In the community.
we had block parties
We would-
all over the
we
place.
would have block parties, and everyone would come out that was on the block, and we would all, hang out
All right, Crescent
together.
City.
There
When
weren't
was the last
Walmarts.
block
There weren't
party?
Walmarts in Chicago. There were only like couple Walmart Expresses, and the only thing they could sell were groceries, and it was basically like a Walgreens, and they only had those inside the loop where there was big skyscrapers.
Yeah.
You go out into any of the it's still Chicago, but like Logan Square, anything like that, they didn't allow any big box.
I wonder when the last like true block party was. Maybe here in Crescent City. I know growing up in
4th of July,
Modesto.
do they do? Don't they?
Well,
Um,
my question
that's-
then is, my whole idea of like a true block party is, you get everyone together. But, in order to have a block party, now you have to get permits for this and that. And
You can, but even if you have 15, you live on a street and you just go down and you make up something, a flyer that says, I want to get all my neighbors together, everybody bring a dish and get ready. Get ready for some fun, whatever. If you want to just donate $10,
Yeah,
we can do,
dancing
we
in
can
the
bring,
street.
I know, we know people have boom boxes. We know people have systems in their house. We know they do because you can hear them at your place and they're being played 13 houses down.
Mhm.
So people got systems. And those systems are connected to the car because as they drive by your house, they're bringing their system with them.
Mhm.
So we know that, what are we lacking? What are we lacking? The ability to face ask somebody, hey, you wanna join me for a block party? You wanna bring your kids and like share some food and some stories and some laughs? Hey, and maybe let's do this more than once a month.
Well, I think it's also the bureaucratic side of things. Because you do something like that, cops show up.
But if it's all about greatness, and when the police do show up, you hand them a plate. You're like, hey, welcome. Bring your family down here afterwards. If we're going to get the community in there.
Well, and I love
Then
that
we-
you, I love
then
that
we
you say
need-
that because that's the attitude that we do have to take towards
Yep.
something like
The
that.
cops
Because
aren't really always there to shut you down. It's just that you're driving, the speed limit's 65. You're doing 67. What do? Everybody, 99.9% of people hit that brake to make sure that they're going 65. That cop doesn't really care unless you're doing 80 or really being ignorant,
Careless.
leaving
careless,
through traffic.
right? So if you don't just think that they're there to hurt you, maybe they're just curious. Oh, cool. There's nothing bad going on. Oh, and now I'm invited for food. Imagine the possibilities and the success of that in a community as well.
Well, because we have to look at it, not all, like I thought we talked before.
Oh, yeah.
Most people are inherently good,
Mm-hmm.
even as adults. So I feel like police get a bad rap.
A lot
There's
of
a lot.
police do.
There's a lot of people out there that get bad raps.
Mm-hmm.
A few bad.
The
a few
only
bad
thing that I will
apples
say is,
ruins the whole batch.
yeah. Well, and
A lot of
unfortunately,
times.
though, that you look at the track record of not, and I'm not just saying in general, but I'm saying you look at the track record right here.
I
You know,
understand.
There's
I understand.
so-
there's a saying in the military: one aw crap erases 1,000 attaboys.
Well,
And
that's
so-
wrong. And that's wrong. That's
and
the
it-
wrong
and it
way of
is.
thinking. That's
We-
the wrong way of thinking.
We need to
Because
remember.
we always look to the bad.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
People are first to look to the bad.
Well,
So we need to shift that
Mhm.
consciousness and actually look at the good in a lot of situations, because when we focus our energy and our first thoughts move to the negative, we're already inducing that
Yep.
feeling.
I lost my job.
You know?
Well,
So-
I
Well,
think
he might have
that's
lost
why
the
we
job,
should,
but
you know,
what
look
are the
at the
opportunities?
police as people that are actually there to help us, and also in the same sense, look at one of the reasons that not only do we have an inherent distrust for police is because, well, it used to be, you know, that they worked for us, they're peace officers, they help keep the peace. But it's turned into more of their revenue generating system. And unfortunately, most people, when they try to get help, they don't receive any help, or, oh, we don't have the time for that. Well, what do you have the time for? Pulling over someone that's going 5 over the speed limit,
Yeah.
harassing someone that's homeless, that's trying to, you know, I'll be honest, if they wanted to harass anyone, you know, how about the people that are trashing our ecosystem with all this garbage?
Yeah.
You know,
Those are
like,
$10,000 fines.
like we
That's a
need,
lot of revenue.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
you know, but there's also more revenue in just holding people over,
I understand,
you know.
that, but I'm saying
But but
one
what
ticket
this,
is 10 grand if
Yeah.
you get caught dumping
Mhm.
like that. You know,
so what we really need to do is not only, you know, we need to sort of hold people up for more accountability. You know, why are we as citizens held to different standards than the government and the police? You know, they can openly break laws and openly do stuff because they make the law. So, you know, so I'm
It
just
goes
saying.
back to the system.
Exactly. So I'm just saying that if we come together, you know, and I'm not saying that, you know, everyone's got to get along, because, you know, guess what? You know,
We don't have to like.
we don't have to
everybody.
like everybody. We
We
don't
don't.
have to agree on everything. You know, like,
It is okay to see differently, like
Mhm.
not eye to eye.
it's
Now,
good.
Ben and I, we don't see eye to eye on a lot of things,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna say 9 times out of 10, it's because he's taller than I am, and I'm looking really at your chin. So that's, but that's
Mhm.
okay with me. You know, I don't mind looking and seeing a different view of things.
It gives us the different side of that Coke can.
It does.
You know, like,
Different
oh,
perception.
oh,
Yes.
it's a circle, not a rectangle. Okay, well, you know, and that's why, you know, the competition can be good. You know what I mean? Like, there's all these things that can be good, but we've become a society of excess, where it's just got to be too much of one thing or too much of this. Where if we decide to share stuff and sort of get, you know, a little bit more on that page, you know, things will be a little bit easier for us.
Well,
you know.
The society will always, one way or another, society is going to grow. And our guest is here. It's kind of unexpectedly expected. Hello, handsome.
How you doing, man?
How's it going,
Amazing,
brother?
thank you. So, yeah, and our society does need to continue to come together. We need to, again, so March 16th, come out, bring some food, bring a
Smile
game.
and a hug.
Yeah.
Bring a smile and a hug. It doesn't even have to be for somebody that you know. Kids love hugs. You know, like, I'm gonna have my 13. He just turned 13.
Mm-hmm.
Holy moly! So I'm gonna have my 13-year out there, and if he comes running by you and hugs you, then by all means, just give him a hug back, and don't worry. It is contagious.
Mine's turning 18 in 2 days.
2 days.
Amazing.
Holy moly!
2 days. The big 18.
Oh. So our guest today is a man I want to really call a mentor and an inspiration, Nick Yaris. I got the pleasure of meeting Nick just a couple of months ago. I was just about to publish my book, and Nick had some really inspiring words for me on how to accept something, push forward, and not just accept what you have, but if you want something, you need to push forward for it. It takes work. Nothing comes to you. And when you appreciate everything, more comes. And it's up to you to accept those opportunities. And, you know, so thank you. Thank you, Nick, for joining us today. I haven't gotten to see him in a minute, so kind of giddy right now.
No, hello everyone. My name is Nick Yaris, and it's a real honor that I sit beside someone that I really appreciate in Isaiah O'Connell. And I sit here today only because of the things that this man projects. And it's an honor to meet you, Ben. Thank
Very
you,
nice
sir.
to meet you as well, Nick.
Yeah, and I was telling myself on the drive down how this is the proof that what you guys, as I was listening to the car about how you want to orchestrate this purposeful thing, is proved out by the people who gather. And this wonderful lesson to me comes from Isaiah, who met me several months back. And he looked at me and he said, man, I can help you, brother. And it's wonderful, that feeling that you get from another man when they say things like that to you upon meeting them. So we embraced and we promised to stay in touch. And then I did the Joe Rogan podcast, and hundreds of thousands of messages are flooding in, and here comes Isaiah. He's like, Nick, do you remember the day we met? And I said, I do indeed, brother. I remember. And he said, well, my words were sincere to you. Please come down to Crescent City. I'm down there with my Mrs. Kristen, and we'd love to have you stop down. So I drive down from Oregon, and I meet Isaiah, and I had the pleasure of meeting his partner, Kristen, and it was just before the baby and all that. And he was like, dude, I told you, man, there are sincere people out here. And you can hear it in his voice when I was listening to the radio. I'm like, yeah, that's Isaiah. And it's a nice quality about people when they are consistent. And I like that. And I thought, wow, this is a great thing, because I went through this experience. He's talking about his 18-year-old, but he's got a brand new baby boy that getting big and beautiful. And I had all that wonderful experience, and I wanted to just project all this positivity to him. And so Isaiah and I were talking recently, and I'm going to start making a new documentary. Ooh. Much like my very first one. See, everybody thinks, and I was the only one willing to stand up for her after they decided they were going to walk away from her grave. So I realized at that time that I had a quality that came across from the poignancy of my suffering that was able to be translated from my interviews. And I realized that I could captivate people with my actions as much as I could in the studio. So I want to go back now. And on March 6th, I'm going to Medford, to the Southern University of Oregon, to speak. And Isaiah has graciously agreed to come along and film and come with me to begin this documentary. And I've been in touch with producers in New York and elsewhere, and I really want to start this documentary as an organic, honest thing, like Catfish meets The Imposter. Because the idea behind this is, everybody thinks when they see the death row prisoner being exonerated and set free into the loving arms of his family, it's over. No. It all just begins at that point.
That's right.
I was set free with $5.07 of my own money. I was given no health care, no treatment, no parole services, no job training, no health care, nothing. I was shunned by politicians because there was still an ongoing effort to try and squash me. So in the humblest of ways, I started to do what you gentlemen were just talking about. I began going out, and if I met a police officer, I decided that my interactions with that person was going to compel him to see the next person as a human being. So I was going to be nice to him.
Wow.
And the nice person would do that. And it all began with a simple promise to my mother. You see, after she waited for me and prayed for me and cried for me for 23 years, on my second morning, she sat me down and said to me, Nick, I have only one thing to ask of you, and this is very important, so please listen to me. Every day, I want you to go out and be polite. I want you to say yes, sir, and no, sir, and thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir, because I want to show that we as a family have respect. And wouldn't it be such a waste of everyone's time if you got out of prison and you weren't a nice person?
Wow.
She said, promise me, you please don't ever let anyone steal your kindness. So I want to make a documentary called Stealing Kindness. And the efforts that I made over the 15 years of my freedom to not let society that once wanted to execute me steal my kindness. And it's very difficult to imagine that the 15 years of my freedom have been harder on me than all 23 years of death row. The
Wow.
things that I have faced have been truly, immediately and viscerally hard. And their impact on others, if you're a caring person, are enormous. So for me, it has been a real effort to come to this point and go and show people what it was like to be 26 days old in after innocence to who I am now in stealing kindness.
So we have about a minute until our break. The book that really brought Nick and I together is the book that he wrote, The Kindness Approach. This has been really beneficial for myself. I've read it at least once. I flipped through it on days. There's always a book that any book, you can open any book and you're going to find something that is going to inspire you or open your eyes or your heart. You're going to see it from a different point of view.
I call it finding a part of myself in that book.
Yes. Oh, so you can find this on Amazon, but as soon as we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about this, and we'll have Nick back with us.
Thank you.
So yeah, what a beautiful day, and your drive down was pretty
Beautiful,
nice.
yeah,
Oh.
and I've had all these good vibes to share with you guys, so it's
Oh.
wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for joining us again. I appreciate the message this morning from. I guess I'm just gonna call you my guy from now on because hey, we could do this. We could have this guy. So come back with us here in just a few minutes with Nick Yars. We'll see you in a minute.
Thank you.
You're listening to KFUG
Good to see you.
LP, Crescent City.
I'm gonna get some,
DTL.
yeah, we got a few
wireless
minutes.
quick break, and
Can I get on?
right?
Yeah. We have a few minutes. We're gonna stay live on the Facebook
I'm
and
going to go
YouTube.
live too.
Oh,
I
sweet.
got
Please.
40,000 followers to bring you.
Oh, sweet. Whoa. Love it.
Wi-Fi code?
Is purple gate.
Wait, which one? Oh, a man with a camera. Hey, you wouldn't be a videographer as well, would you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
See that?
Dude, what's your name?
When
I'm
you
sorry,
show
Paul.
they
Paul
really
Portraits, yeah.
care.
I've seen you.
Thank you.
Before.
What a day, man. What a day. Holy moly.
Oh, I'm making
Holy
a documentary.
moly. Just when you think things can't get
Great
better,
opportunity
right?
to have the
And
context of the
things struggle.
documentary
Your
against
day
the film
happens, your
performing.
life happens.
Um,
And you wake up and you're thinking, what do I have to do? Who do I have to talk to? Or how do I have to see something in a different light? And then that light happens. You flip on a switch and there it is. Open your heart. You never know. It's going to happen. Everything happens for a reason, every single
Crime
day.
and investigation channel.
It's meant to open a message. It was meant to answer a phone call.
Okay.
Become a yes man every day. You never know. Never know what else is going to happen. Because of Paul, because of Nick, Ben, Isaiah, and
You know
you.
exactly what I mean, because
This
I
happens.
just went through.
So be that
2
voice.
weeks ago,
Continue to
we had
talk.
one Death Row Stories
Continue to
in
raise it.
Hill.
Every day is a new day.
I learned so much from these. Their fucking lighting was incredible. They came up to the house and they had everything. They did everything. 2300 made bigger to shade everything.
Yeah. But see, I don't have that kind of capability. What I have is
4K
like
camera. I have.
it's just like what I do is like basically what I hold and do for around here. I've done real estate videos and crap like that. But
Yeah,
nothing
that's-
as far as a setup, I don't have that. I
No,
don't have like studio.
you don't need that in today's technology because of 4K cameras. I even
Miss
have
Kristen,
pictures of
hey,
4K
how are you,
cameras.
young lady?
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's
good.
So basically, what
How's
I
the baby?
need is like someone to help me.
That's
And
good.
I really
Yeah, he's
do
getting big, I
have a
know.
great opportunity. to
Oh,
go
look at him.
forward. Maybe
Oh,
even
I'm just
touch
kidding.
the
I can't see you.
producers.
I'm just kidding.
So I'm thinking, go and capitalize on all these
Yes,
opportunities.
I know. We're
Smash it,
fuzzy
turn it
today.
into
It's
editable
what
material
happens.
into 96 minutes.
No, that's fine. Yeah, get Dandelion's got my contact info, man. If you have
Yes.
anything. My biggest concern, and honestly, just to be right up front with that, is that I don't, unless there's like a living to be made, doing something,
Miss
I don't
Raines.
have the time to do things.
Michael.
that
That's
don't
what I'm
do
doing.
That, you
What's
know,
going on,
you
brother?
know,
How are
Like
you?
that. So no, that's why I said if there's a producer giving us money,
That's one thing.
That's what
Exactly.
you need. Or if you wanted to be hired out for the day,
Uh-huh.
that's another thing. I can
Exactly.
reach out to them and tell them your price, bring you on board, you go with me,
Yeah.
How much time we
film.
got?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Minutes.
that would
I
be
believe
totally-
that
that
we
would
all
be
need to do
totally
that for each
good.
other.
147.
That'd be
When we start,
146.
when we start you guys up, I'm gonna take a quick step out.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
Mr. Dan,
Sir,
how are you?
I am, oh my gosh, more energized than, oh, I just got done talking to Kristen.
My brother's live too.
Kristen was on, yeah, I just got done talking to her. I couldn't hear her or see her, so I don't know if she, I don't know if she was really answering me or not, but yeah, we talked about the baby and
Nice.
it was a good conversation.
Nice.
I'll probably get a sheen cake later and that's okay.
Hello, hello, everyone.
My brother's tuning in
Welcome
right
to
Is
those
he?
of you around
Nice.
the world.
Hey brother, how are you?
Tuning in. I thought I'm just gonna like drop this up and we're just gonna let it run. Whoever wants to go. So,
Yeah.
hello, Isaiah. Ben. Hi. Hello, man, Paul. Ben.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. See if we can set this up. No plans of the peanut gallery.
There's a light right there we could try to lean it against too. Are you good? You got it?
I don't know. Give me a rubber band. Take
I
that
see
rubber
you
band.
too, bro.
I don't think it'll go around. Oh, how about that?
Yeah, it's not too bad right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
You're good.
Good, we're in there. We're in
Hello.
there.
In Like Flint,
In there
that's my
like
favorite
swimwear?
movie.
In
I'm
there
hoping
like
that's
swimwear.
okay.
In Like Flint, that's my favorite movie. Oh man, Austin. There needs to,
Good, good.
there
Nice.
needs to be another
Alright.
Austin Powers movie.
So
I'm
for
just saying.
those of you not knowing, I'm here in KFUG radio here in Crescent City, Oregon,
California.
and I'm sorry, Crescent City, California.
Welcome
And,
back. This is
yeah.
DTL, and we're gonna just get right into it.
So we have our guest today, Nick Yaris. And again, Nick wrote this book, The Kindness Approach. And as he was just telling us before the break, he made a promise to his mom. And excuse me, we all have that let them down, or what is it that we need to do to really keep the faith? Really, and that's what it is, isn't it? It's keeping a faith, because times are going to get hard. No day is perfect. No day. Even when it starts out like this, and you're on your way home tonight, and it starts raining. Well, it's going to be cold, so slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just it's the universe telling you you've had a lot going on. Take a minute.
Well, one of the best
Take a
ways
minute,
I've
slow
heard
down.
it said is, it always gets better. It always gets better.
Oh, it's got to.
So if things aren't going good right then, that just means that's not over. You still got a little bit to go through, but it always gets better.
That movie, The Crow. What that song? It can't rain all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I keep
You know?
thinking this.
They haven't been here.
Honestly, do I keep thinking every one of us is living with a death sentence. And after I had that physical feeling in my head of being sentenced to the electric chair and being put in a place to be executed, I don't want my last day. I want to have a purposeful day. So if this is a day, because we're all living under the death sentence. There were 80,000 people swore to God they were going to wake up today. Yesterday was their last day, man. And I had this rubbed in my nose so much that I'm grateful, because I don't want to leave here without a hug. Because I get in the car and I could be just like that person. I don't see it. I don't turn my head in time and it's over.
Yeah.
I had so many tragedies that became such instant things in my life that I really took everything they did to me as a
Thank you,
grateful
Paul.
gift. And I thought, wow, what a wonderful opportunity to take everything that they did to me as the onset of what I could be grateful for. Like, I know a lot of us go through our trials and tribulations to the point that it becomes the blur. Then you could spend a week getting caught up in some bullshit, and then you haven't
What's your
realized.
language?
Sorry. But you get caught up in the bullcrap of life so much to the point that all that week you didn't spend time with that person that really needed you.
Yeah.
It wasn't that thing that you knew until you heard from them, and they went through that whole week of tragedy, and you think, oh damn, I could have been there and been with them, and it wouldn't have been as bad. But I got so self-absorbed in the things that have been befalling me, I forgot to do that, man. And that, I realize we all have this capability, and I love this in this community that is lasting. Then you can explain to people why they should be involved with making it part of our services.
Yeah.
So we need to go to the fire department and honor them with a monthly party, a emergency services party, and get them to come out. So when the police officer comes out,
That's
one of the
amazing
feelings I
idea.
have is because I make an effort to befriend the police officers in my community, I always feel better when I see them because they smile at me. And that breaks down the barrier of worrying if I am driving too fast. I got pulled over one night, me and Laura and the kids were in the car and the lights were off, but the young man knew me. And he knew I was polite and he knew I was a nice person. So he came up and he said, hey, you pulled out without your lights on. I said, oh, sorry, it's Christmas, it's New Year's Eve. We were just getting milk for the kids. I'm very sorry. Thank you for telling us. I was really grateful, and he didn't ticket me. And I thought, that's what I want the people to know in this community. When you go out and you have a block party, do it for the emergency service personnel who have to witness suicides and have to witness babies dying, have to witness car crashes, and make them face you and learn from you to like you, so that when you see the police officer, you go, there goes Ben. Oh, I hope he's having a good day today.
Right.
Instead of internalizing about, oh, there's the cops. You're like, oh, there's my friend. But the only way that we break down all the problems that we're having in
Yes.
society is that we go out. All right, I grew up in Philadelphia where we had neighborhood contests. You wouldn't believe how beautiful the gardens of like West Philly and Fairmount Park and all these areas were, where people had pride in trying to outdo each other in the tidiness and the beautiful gardens out front. And the young kids went out and made money cutting grass because everybody wanted it nice. The only way to build that up is because it was part of PAL, Police Athletic League.
That's
It was
right.
part of
Who
the
remembers
emergency
that?
system.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, we need,
Oh,
we need
yes.
to go back to working with our services. Because of the internet, sadly, we've become this ostracized judge and critic of everything. So immediately, our first feeling is whip out the phone and shame and gain. Instead of going out and appealing to try and make things better every day before the incident,
Right.
we're waiting for the incident with our phone.
Yeah.
And that's not fair on that man, because that's a 1 minute judgment. And we've lost that. And it's a shame, because I think that one of the best things about Crescent City is NorCal Life Flight has done so much for so many people in the area. There should be a monthly get-together, and everyone wants to honor the emergency services because that's the first person we call.
Yeah.
So if you give their kids, you should go to the park.
Yep.
We should have an
Exactly.
amusement. Yeah, you dunk the cop in the nice weather. Hey man, how many? Yeah, but how many?
Mr.
people-
Athey,
Yeah,
can you
how
help us
many
out with
people
this?
would get to know that officer's name?
Right.
Look, I want that officer to go
That's-
home at night and have a good night with his family. If I don't personal inner with one person shape my whole view, like a black person or a Chinese person, that's not fair.
You know what? And the job that they have, you know, to know every single day that they wake up and they think, I am not liked by community.
That's a terrible thing.
And then they
Well,
have to
how
go to
about
work
this?
with that?
No, how about this? Your job is to professionally go and answer the worst of society's acts. Don't you get it?
Yeah.
Their job by description is to go out and answer the call for society's worst acts.
Okay.
Listen, in the course of one day, a police officer can encounter a child who has been done wrong by an adult, by a drunken debauchery of a human being fighting afterwards, and then they have to go and deal with a car wreck in which a family's been wiped out, going home to their family while feeling shit on by the society they're by being ostracized mentally by the society that is actually there for them.
Right.
So that's why we really, if you want to do it, have a purpose of going out and having like meet and greets, fire station cleanup day, where the community comes out and goes to the fire station and does tidy up and makes a real effort to show we care about them when they put the uniform away.
So Isaiah is only allowed one mic drop per show.
Oh, sorry.
And I think you have 6 now already in like the 12 minutes you've been here. And I'm not talking the language. I'm just talking I'm talking about the compassion and the message that when you open, the way you say things and the way you get a heart to open, the way you inspire. I have Isaiah brought me this thing, and I've been asking people that I traveled like. What was the best part of your day? Or was the last time you did something for the first time? And when you're asked when was the last time you did something for the first time, it makes you think, and it makes you kind of slow down for a minute, because you've done a lot. But when was the last time you really tried something or did something for the first time? So when I love listening to you talk, Nick, because it brings me back to what Isaiah and I were talking about. Is who's driving our bus? Who inspires us to be on our path? Because our path is, when we're young, our path is here, right? We want to experience everything that life has to offer now. You know, I joined the Navy, I joined the military out of high school, and kind of raised under a rock, as you want to say. I was kind of sheltered a little bit. And then I get to Japan and the USS Independence, CV-62, and I meet some of the most amazing people that opened a world. For 4 years between the Independence and the Kitty Hawk, when you take this path and it slowly dwindles down, and then you become 41. Not that I'm 40, I'll never admit to it, but when you become 40, and your path now is very focused, and you meet these people that come to you, and they're. I say the universe because the universe is vast. The universe is so huge. And when your magnetron inside attracts that positive energy and it brings it back for a reason.
Well, this is what I preach all the time.
This is the fourth meeting with Nick that has been spontaneous. Every single time I have seen you, met you, embraced you. I have known about it that much beforehand. It has never been a planned meeting. It has been, hey, guess who's here?
Yeah, and I love it because every time out, I've discovered something new about myself from talking to you.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love, sure as I am of myself, of what I want to go forward with, I need to be really willing to listen like this man, because he just got out a pen, and he was like, yeah. Oh yes, someone else on a, and I love that about him, because it's the whole purpose of writing, The Death of Lefties is about how the world is seen by this whole group of people from a different perspective, and here he is showing me he's like that, and I really appreciated that. And then I watched out of the corner of my eyes, my friend Isaiah was like, yeah, I knew this was going to unfold. These two men have this need to share in life what is common amongst them, even though they're from so different parts of the world. You, sir, went through all these experiences in travel, and you developed all these wonderful qualities about yourself because you finally saw beyond yourself.
Thank you.
And when you get there, it is easy to take that run and then go and ask yourself, what is the best part of your day? And it has meaning.
Yeah.
It's
Very much so.
Yeah, it's like,
Very much so.
I tell people all the time that one of the things that I'm grateful is that I got to burn out a passport. When I got out of prison,
Wow.
I went all over the world. Within months of only being free, I was standing at the Coliseum, and I was ready to walk up on stage, and there was 20,000 people in attendance. An actor spoke after the mayor of Rome was speaking, and he read Tolstoy's The Executioner beautifully in Italian in this gorgeous baritone voice. I remember, I realized my place. I was there to celebrate Italy being the first country to outlaw the use of the death penalty because its abuses in that country for many, many eons. And it was Italy's turn to feel good about itself.
Wow.
So I orchestrated a moment where I had these children release boxes of white doves, and I walked out on stage in a beautiful suit, only 10 months out of my cell. And I said to my Italian family here before me, I want you to know only one thing. If this is all but a dream and I wake up tomorrow and I'm still in my cell, I want you to know it doesn't matter. Because tonight I'm going to live my whole life as it's the only night to give to you, and I love you. And I walked away. Because right at that moment, it was Italy who needed to celebrate
Yep,
who they were.
exactly.
Knowing your place.
Knowing your place in society allows you to do so many more good than I'll do,
Yep.
our military, and this is why we really need to make an effort in our society to give back. And I was so grateful listening to you guys talk about this, because it gave me less of a burden to explain to people who I was in my arduous task throughout the justice system. It's easy to Google my name and find out a lot about me. But what people really should know is, I'm very much like you, man. I go to the corner store and I stand beside you all and I politely interact with you because I understand what neuroplasticity is. It is the human ability to use a gift within our brains to heal. And if you think about it, the embraces that we gave to one another, the smiles, the way that we're putting an effort out to speak, and the energy in this room that is just so palatable is neuroplasticity. When two people come together and they interact, they can cause each other to heal. This is why for many years people have gone and sought solace in each other's arms. And we're losing so much of this in society behind this veil of the internet. So bringing people out, we should put up a hug. I had an incident years ago.
I love that. Hugs for a
Oh,
dollar,
man.
and we'll
No.
donate it. Hugs for a
Society, you go untouched. There was an incident years ago, speech at a school, St. George's School in northern London. And a boy stood at the back. He didn't interact with me. He watched as everyone else got my autograph or whatever and hugged me, whatever. And he walked up to me with his hands in his pockets. And he said, what if I pulled out a gun right now and started killing everyone? And I said, why would you do that? He said, well, what would you do? And I said, well, I'd grab you and wrestle you to the ground and then ask you, why on earth would you give away your beautiful life? And he looked at me, he said, that's all you would do? I said, yes, of course. Why? He goes, so you wouldn't try to kill me? I said, no, I'd try to get you to realize that you're probably going to be an amazing lawyer someday, man. Why don't you just knock this on in the head and listen to me? You have an amazing perspective to captivate me within moments. You could probably be a brilliant barrister. I look out in the corner of my eye and two teachers are crying because this boy Charlie hasn't spoken to anyone for 3 years since his dad died. And I realized I had invoked this thing in this kid to come out of himself. I'm standing there and I realized I had hit a moment. A month's passed. The instructors contacted me and said, this kid went out and got a bench and he put it up. And it was for any other child that was in that school that needed someone just to talk to. And he would listen. We need this.
Yeah.
This is something we keep forgetting. This is why the hippies did so much in the Humboldt area back in the 60s and 70s. When I was watching that program, Murder Mountain, I remember all the stuff that they came out there for. Because what we lack is that, I know it's weird, but we need to stop being afraid to be caregivers. We are meant to be the caregivers of this planet, right? But why can't we be the caregivers of each other? And it's not being a hippie, I'm sorry, but to really go out of your way and care for each other, it's not being a hippie, man. It's just
Well,
being cool.
It's the road to selflessness.
Yeah.
Is what we all need to push ourselves towards.
Yeah.
Because those acts of selflessness create the energy that you're talking about. And as we perform those things and it opens people's hearts, you know, we can allow people to flourish.
Very much.
You know, and with the support, you know, from brothers and sisters all around us, it can't help but be
Dude,
amazing.
how much have you alone been there for me? That's what I mean. That we really do become stronger when we give out this honest energy, not the
Random
the
acts of
bullshit.
kindness.
I'm sorry for language, but yeah, not the thing that makes us glorify who has. That's why I've always loved the beach.
Well, this is the thing. It's like it says in the Bible, you know, we'll go out and do, and you know, it's like you know, movie stars and all these people of higher echelon. They do these things where, you know, give away X amount of things or X amount of dollars, but they have 10,000 people and press all around, just so they can show off the fact that they've given away this money or this car or this or
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You know, that's completely backwards from the way it should be. You should be doing those random acts of kindness out of your heart, not needing the glorification from the people. You know, because you find glory within yourself.
That's
Yeah.
that's another reason why. That's another reason why I have my quote for Death to Lefties is helping those left to be the voice for what's right. And it's not just the left-handed people of society that
Shout out to my
are
brother who's left-handed.
not,
Montgomery.
not just to
Bethany at
those
home, she's left.
left-handed people that struggle every day in a right-handed society, but it's those people that are feeling left out of society, who feel that their voice is not being heard for whatever reason.
Right.
Why do you feel like your voice isn't being heard? Maybe you're not shouting loud enough. Maybe it's the company that you're with because their voice is muffled too. Because we
Or they're
still live,
shouting for something else.
or we still live in that society where people are afraid to raise their hand to say that yes, they have the answer. Because why? It's not the answer of everybody. Well, guess what? I kind of came to a realization that we go to church, we go to politics, we go to our parents looking for the answer, right? And we all have a different question as for our answer. Who is it that can tell us that our answer is wrong? If my question is similar but different to yours, and the answer is similar but different, how are we both wrong? And who is it that can judge us? Well, why are we letting society judge us?
There's this wonderful thing about Sanskrit that goes to the heart of what you're talking about. Do you ever notice that when someone speaks the truth and you light up because you know what they're saying is true? That's the difference. And I think that's what you have to filter out. When you connect with people and you resonate, it's because the truth resonates. And energy is obviously what we are. And I love the fact that if you listen closely to someone who's truly putting out that wonderful vibe, you're drawn to it. You know they're trying hard to be genuine and sincere. They're putting aside their facade, which is so hard. In society, we develop this thing where we put on a facade as who has been to himself, who has been to others. And one of the things that I love is that I am just so completely devoid of that. I have no worriment because my falsity never comes back to bite me in my ass. I am who I am, and be that as it is, it draws others who are like that. There was this wonderful study about genetics, that people who dress like goths around the world and they congregate in these events were given DNA tests in the crowds, and they all shared the same DNA traits. So I love the fact that I'm part of that part of me that is truly uniquely drawn to empathy, and all of the empathetic people are drawn to me.
That's something society is missing. Is people, especially men, in today's society that are empathetic.
Well, men have been taught not to be.
To express.
Yes.
Yeah, not to express.
But we're
to hold
drawn
your
to each
feelings.
other.
Yes.
So let it come.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
this is one thing I do love, not only about who I am, but what it is that I pull from not only Ben and Isaiah, Nick, and all the other friends that we have in our small circle. The energy. You can be having a terrible day, and just hug one of them. Ron
Hug it
is
out.
hug it out. Ron is
Hug it
one
out.
of those people that he will pull that negative, whatever it is, and it's just a quick embrace.
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier.
You
The
know.
perception. The perception changes from me to you,
Mm-hmm.
or me to Nick. You know, so maybe what I see that's got me down, he could look at it from a completely different standpoint and be like, "Look, bro, it's not that bad, is it?" You know.
There's
So,
always another option.
We as brothers and sisters all need to make that conscious effort
Thank you.
to have each other's back,
Thank you for throwing
to
out
lift
that.
each other up.
This is true. Look, I have a friend on the internet named Simon Milne. And when I met him, he had one follower on Twitter. Pain sufferer for life and overcame consistent, loving, supportive people you could ever want as a follower on the internet. And I love this guy. I've never met him in my life. But the vicarious gift of being isolated from society on death row let me appreciate people from just simple letters so much that I would live for their photograph or their images so much. So I recognize that even there is no barrier that stops you from doing this, man. You don't have to be in society to make that good effort. You don't have to be sharing the sarcastic meme and making people feel stupid because their beliefs are different than yours. You can really, if you do, and this is crazy, man. Since August of last year, I've saved over 100 people from killing themselves. And the burden that it puts on me to hear their stories, because they reach out to me. And I give back. I tell every one of my brothers that if you got the guts to tell me this, I love you. I don't care what someone's done to you. I want you to know I love you, man. And the women and the kids and it's all like really hard on me to not feel all that empathy. But I do, because I don't want to be afraid to feel another person's pain. And that's what society is doing to us. It's teaching us to take pills because we feel pain, and that way we can't feel pain. We can't feel other people's pain that way
Yeah.
either. That's not fair.
No.
And it closes us off from that empathic path.
Yeah.
That, you know,
You
it clouds,
can't feel
it clouds the
empathy if you
vision.
can't feel
Yeah,
pain.
it clouds the vision.
And enforces the will to just want to stand there and record the problem instead
Yeah.
of.
Instead of
Stepping in.
instead of-
Yeah, you want to
instead of
document
stepping in.
everything, but you
Yeah.
don't want to be a participant.
Yeah, you'll stand by and watch it, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get, you know how many likes I'll get for this, you know?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Especially if it shows someone making a pratfall moment.
Mhm.
I know, look, there's this wonderful thing about us. We want to find others like us. Whether it's our treks to the farthest regions of the world or the deepest parts of our mind, we're trying to find each other.
Yes, well,
And by
our
doing-
lost tribe.
Right,
We're
and
trying to find our lost
our
tribe.
only
Oh,
way
yeah.
to do, and this is crazy, man, I didn't figure this out until the worst days. Our only way to find that is through good. You can't get a community to bond and build each other up in a riot. But if you're out there every month putting it out there, you would be surprised the connectivity that those bonds make. I remember I had this wonderful experience. When I first got out, I witnessed, like, this family was at the seaside and they were having a party, and then a family next to them came over. And as I sat on the New Jersey shore only a few months after my release, I thought, isn't that wonderful that because they put themselves out there, they invited the love of another family, and now look at them, they're all connecting. And that's what brought me back. Like, I wanted back in. I wanted to forgive society for my mistakes of wanting me dead as well. And I wanted to go ahead and be part of that community. I could go out there and make friends like that. Isn't that what we're all striving for, man?
Yeah.
Like, the only
Very much.
purpose the four of us are in this room is that one person who's sitting somewhere listening to this and they're feeling the wreckage of their life is thinking, all right, well, maybe if I go ahead and talk to somebody, I'm okay. Maybe I can stop feeling like I'm on the tipping point of hurting myself to the point of actually helping someone.
And also that, you know, we all have feelings, and we all have feelings like that. You know, no matter how strong you want to say that you are, weird stuff goes through your mind. And
Amen.
you know, the fact of the matter is we're all human. We all make mistakes. We all have these feelings, and to feel like you're the only person thinking this, or feel that you're the only person that feels this, you know, like you keep saying about the internet, you know, how often are we in a room where you aren't talking to the people in the room because everyone's on their phone on Facebook?
And you're talking to the person in
Well,
the room with you.
They
like,
just posted
it-
something and
it-
you're
it's-
commenting on their meme.
Conversation
Yeah.
becomes what's on someone's phone.
You know, and it would be a little bit better if at least it was like, oh, hey, you know, look at this idea to bring up, you know, something that can, you know, better, you know, some conversation.
Yes.
But, oh, no,
Yeah.
did you see what the Kardashians did? Or, oh, so-and-so's in a fight with...
All right, this is one of the points that we really have to focus on. We're in a time right now where there is an actual battle for your attention.
Yes.
You need to take control and filter out the BS, because my wife and I started doing this wonderful thing when we got up with that first cup of coffee before the kids got, you know, to needing their taken care of. And we would try and find these really cool things. Romantic videos where a man proposed to his wife after 90 years. It makes you feel so alive and sweet. That puppy that has this amazing moment playing with the other thing.
The cute old couples that are
Yeah.
just dancing it up. Oh, I love it.
And this is purposely done because we don't want to invite the things on the social media that are inundating everyone and making us feel pressurized, and we end up having this turmoil in us infected by we didn't want it. So we look for like the Good News Network, or we look for positive news items deliberately so we can combat what we already know is being slammed at us, right, left, politics, economics, socialism, classism. It's being thrown at your children, it's being thrown at you. So we need to be the adults in the room. And we need to start taking control of our content and making our world individually shaped by what we're taking in, and just what we're putting out. If you look at your social media feed and you are copying 90% of someone else's words and posting it, you are a bot. You have become a selfless bot without knowing it. If you use the social media, it should be a collage of your life on display so that you can show people your efforts to be giving and caring to the community with thoughtful purpose. So that you can share with the people who care about you a collage of your life as it develops, so they don't feel isolated and alone from you. If you've used your platform for someone else's fight, you've given up your identity. You're just robot number 727-6274, and you're not even making people love you. And that's a shame, because I know people in their personal life who will warmly hug you, and you will look on the social media feed, and it is a riot, cacophony of negativity aimed at a specific group of people so that they could feel just in their life. But outside of the confines of their internet exploit, it's not like that.
No, it's the term keyboard warrior. You
It's
know,
crazy.
we
right.
can be super combative and in positive and negative ways
Right.
via the internet, but the second you go to talk to someone, it turns into, you know, oh, you know, it's an automatic, you know, freak out session.
Yeah.
We've seen all these videos of these people, you know, freaking out over stuff that I've said this, you know, the last 2 radio shows. When you're offended by something, is that something that you're truly offended by, or are you offended, you're told to be offended by that?
And here's the other one. What
Yeah,
people
there we go.
keep forgetting is anger is the most precious luxury item you own. It can cost you every single item in your life, every relationship, every bond in a heartbeat.
There's another mic.
And if you let your anger keep seething and seething, you're going to lose control, and you're going to lose everything.
That's
People don't get this.
another mic.
Clunk.
drop.
It is a
That's-
moment where you have to realize that it isn't just the item that has provoked your ego. It's at the end of your ego is your destructive anger. And what does it do? It steals from you your peace. It steals from you your happiness. You can't go home to your wife and look her in the face because she's like, oh my God, you're so embarrassing. Did you really do that at work today? Because your ego made you go off and you did. Your anger, people don't appreciate how precious their anger is is more precious than gold.
I have that same reaction, and it's not out of anger. It's more out of, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. I'm more of an embarrassment to people because of the things I do and say.
Yeah.
So but that's also, that can be just as damaging
It is.
as the
And
negative
it's
aspect.
all our ego, and this is why we need to check ourselves and stop taking life as a personal experience. Do you know the one that really bothers me is that when you see someone on a climb and they're getting accolades out of everything, seems to be that person's unique experience is life. What they see is life, what they see is life. They have no room for the concept that another person is sharing this planet and this life with them. It is them on stage in the megalomaniac world that makes them project this life is their personal experience. Did you know that this happened because they were standing close to the TV and their team lost? How many people do that? I left the room and they were doing great. I come back to the room and they start losing.
Yeah.
Because life is a singular experience for this person. They really got lost.
And people, we're in a society where everything's instant pleasure, instant, now.
Right.
So we think that everything in life is just going to happen now. When it's a journey, it's a process. So don't get discouraged when you're out there trying to do something and it's not happening. And at the same time, if you fail, well, guess what? Try again. And I'm not saying go out there and make a horrible mistake and do something bad and try that over again because, well, that's how we just don't become better people. But if you're trying something, it's like, hey, when you first tried to ride your bike without training wheels, you fall, you skin your knees a few times, you try that again, you get good at it. Like, no sports player, and you know how much I dislike sports, no sports player is just automatically amazing at that sport. You have to try for it. That's why I got this on my hands. The stuff that comes super easy to you in life is usually not going to be worth it. I'm not saying that things don't fall into place. There's a difference because you worked for that.
And that's another reason why I love coaching. I've been coaching basketball since 2001. I've been coaching volleyball and playing that for a couple of years. But and I love hearing the kids say, "Oh, I suck at this. Oh, I'm terrible." And my first question is, "How long have you been doing this?" This is my first time. Oh, okay. So you're allowed to be terrible. So from now until your first contract that you sign, making $60 million, from now until then, I don't want to hear, I suck, I'm terrible. Because you're an amateur. You get to learn the process, and you have 60 years to be as terrible as you want to learn. Now, I love basketball. I can shoot free throws all day long, threes all day long. You want to play, we'll play. I don't care. It took me a long time to get that good. Ping pong, it's just embedded in me. Darts, whatever. But it also takes a lot of being prepared and accepting the fact that you are going to lose a lot. Phil in England. Okay, I love darts, and I used to think I was pretty good because I could throw 3 darts and hit them in a certain area. That was it. But Phil, this old man walked into the break room and said, "Yeah, let's play 701." Okay, he 9-darted me. I thought I was good. He said, "Do you want to play again?" "Let's play again." He 9-darted me. I set my darts down. I walked out. Like and when I came back in, he said, "Are you ready to learn?" "I'm ready to shut up." "Yes, I am." Because I learned a lot. There's when you're ready to accept those losses. I lost every game to Phil, every single one. But I threw a 180. And that's 3 darts in the triple 20.
So you don't know how to do it, man. I lost for 3 years to the same guy in the chess game.
You want to talk chess?
No, and it's crazy because he spoke multiple languages, mathematician beyond belief. I could tell you the date, any day in the world, history, what day it was. So after 56 losses, I got it all. I was sure that everybody needed to know this. So I jumped up on my bars and I yelled loud as I could, Nobody beats Nick Yaris 57 times in a row. 56, I'll take that. Nobody's gonna beat me 57 times in a row. Take that, I got a draw.
I was,
So I think that our lesson between both of us is, it's really about accepting when, all right, so it's not just accepting that you can't do things. It's accepting things with grace.
yes.
You know, I would rather have someone tell me no than to play a protracted game with me mentally. Because no doesn't mean my breath stinks. No doesn't mean that my color is wrong. No doesn't mean that you don't like me. No meant no.
Right.
And I can accept no. What I can't accept is the loss of respect between us for being okay before the no.
Right.
When it's yes, we good. We're really good. We're so good, it's all just wonderful. But if it's no, you see a problem saying no or accepting my no. And I think that's one of the problems a lot of people have.
What?
Just because something isn't for you doesn't mean it's against you or it's aimed at you. I've seen people take this the wrong way, man. It's a shame because you can lose so many close people in your life because of what your expectations are.
Yeah.
Yep.
When you go at
Exactly.
things
Oh,
and you expect
expectations.
X, Y, and Z and you don't get it.
Yep.
So I always go at it this way. I want to be able to lay my head on my pillow at night after we're done, man. And no matter what, I didn't do you wrong. And if I can give you that, then I know I'm all right because no matter what happened, I'm okay at night because how it played out was how it played out.
Yeah, we can't control all
No.
aspects of the situation, but if we're not doing anything to defy ourselves, and we know we're standing on the good foot, in the truth, then whatever outcome there may be, you know
And
you
you
are
don't
all right.
need to put a post
You don't-
about it.
No.
No,
That's
and you
where
don't-
we're breaking
and
it, man.
you
You don't need to crow about it. I've seen people just lose it over the stupidest things. I have a good friend who constantly cannot stop complaining about mundane shit that happens to
my
them.
gosh.
Oh, sorry about that. Mundane SH
Stuff.
star T. Star symbol T. And it's a shame because this is a person who's influencing young people. And they need to stop doing this thing about the encounters they have at the store and the venomous outpouring thereafter of their opinion because they keep forgetting that they're supposed to be teaching all these other people how to be cool. And that's where I really think we need to take a step back from what we're saying to each other on the social media because it's lasting and it defines who you are.
Well, there's not really a lot behind certain things. If you look at a lot of posts through everybody's feed, there's things like, yep, again, and that's it, right? And then you'll look and there's thumbs up or crying face, a little emojis, and there's comments, but there's no reply to the comment, like, oh, well, what's wrong? Okay, so now I'm gonna walk into a store and be like, yep. I'm gonna wait for 500 people to ask me what's wrong before I finally break down and say, well, nothing.
Emoji.
Yeah.
That's a great thing, man. I
well,
wonder
why-
how people will react to you.
Well,
Would that blow their mind?
thumbs up emoji, and that is one of my favorite. The thing I do not like the word hate, but the thing I dislike the most with somebody, and you're like, yeah, is this a good idea? And they give you that all-inspiring thumbs up emoji.
Oh no.
How?
KK.
How? Well, that's.
It's like cool.
But the thumbs up emoji
Awesome
is,
emoji.
to me, it's kind of like somebody just giving you the, yep, okay, here you go.
And the shame of it is, we need to do better, man.
And how do we get away from the thumbs up emoji? How do we get away from the emoji part of life? Because life is not an emoji.
That's the modern hieroglyph.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Okay. In all honesty, you want to know one of the things that we need to do? Why is it that when we come up with something new, we all somehow have like a platform? All right, we came up with sports. We have the epitome of sports, right? I think we have to have some kind of form of like social media events where like the kindness games take place or something social media driven.
It's a
I mean,
great
my
idea.
God, we have all of the connectability globally to do something like that. So I like that Kids for Peace is going around and trying to do like 1,000,000 acts of kindness a year and things like that.
Kids
We
for
really
Peace.
need to have an internet outlet. All right, so we've done it. If you think about it, we've done it for the Olympics. We've done it for every kind of organized event in the world, except for the one that organizes all of us.
True that.
Where is the Internet Humanitarian Awards, where we find 10 of the most inspirational people on the internet that year and what they've done, and make it into a celebration of other things?
And not make it a billionaire.
Right, and not make
No.
it about their hits and their media. Like, I like the one where the little boy went out, Laura, my wife, who I love very much, and she's listening, she showed me this video of the little boy who was smart enough to run outside and ring the doorbell so he could get his dad's attention because he couldn't operate the remote control on the television. And I thought, see, that's what businesses are missing. That should be the advertisement that gets me to buy the product, because my kid needs my attention. I'm at work. My wife's not being able to get attention. He can ring the doorbell and get me on the phone, and I'll be able to give him instructions on his homework.
Yep.
I would rather buy a product based on that feel-good moment than two, and I'm sad to say, white people breaking into my house because they won't show anyone of color anymore doing the criminal acts on TV ads about security. But we need to do that. We need to have the Internet Awards. We need to
I
have
love that.
we need to have a yearly event globally that celebrates the internet achievements of each country, to bring enlightenment to the children of countries, or to bring healthcare to people online, because the health industry was made so popular in this one area. Everyone got virtual healthcare, free mental health care. Why don't we use the internet like we've used the Olympics to unify us?
Condition.
How many mic?
Conditions.
Anybody counted mic drops for today? I'm just throwing that out there.
I think that's one of the things that we need to do, is
We
we
do.
need to take control of the internet instead of being taken control of it by our
Very much
stupid
so.
output, to use it as a channeled energy instead of 1 billion hits for the Kardashians that week. It should be 1 billion hits for, and no disrespect to them, they've done well for marketing themselves, good for them. But I don't have opinions on people in the negative because it makes me smaller. But I think that it would be nice to have 1 billion hits for the cancer research that allowed 600,000 people to get free access to that treatment that year because of the internet. Or
That'd be awesome.
the doctors in Africa who are getting virtual assistance for surgery back in England because of the program where they can be guided by a surgeon's hand virtually. We should celebrate that
Yes.
every year. That should be our #1 celebration, because the whole point of the internet was to globally unite us instantly. So what do? We then use it as a personal platform for everybody to bicker. So we
Well,
need to make the internet
Personal
games,
ego
or the
booster.
internet unification. I think it should be something classy, like a festival, the World Internet Festival. That would be wonderful, where people could present their platforms of healing and exchange platforms of idea, while music artists get to tap into the biggest audience of all.
Why not the World Internet Festival Expo? Because then the initials are WIFE. And what better way to
To
really,
honor the world and
To honor the
moment that
world.
we live in,
Happy life,
Mother Earth.
right?
happy wife.
So, why not? Maybe that's something we could start, the WIFE.
The WYFE, man.
So, thank you. We've got about 5 minutes. Thank you so much for joining us today. You truly are an inspiration.
Well, we used to have those
Couldn't-
Columbia expeditions.
Yeah.
Like the Chicago's World Fair,
Right.
Philadelphia
We
World
missed it,
Fair.
man. Yeah.
This
You
is
know,
this is Nick's book again.
Else I can send out. I also have copies of 7 Days Live, and I'm honored that Dandy. I'm sorry, but you need to really plug your own book as well. And I like Deaf to Lefties, and I think what it is a great thing that two artists came together and in a moment and in a flash fell deeply and romantically in love, man.
Thank you.
And I
Yeah.
like the fact that everything about this man is something that I respect. And my mother had a wonderful saying. She said, if you can show me who your friends are, I can tell you who you are. And I that's what we need
That's
to
amazing.
do. We need to go out and surround ourselves with representatives of ourselves.
Very
And it's
much
an
so.
honor that I think that you are a great representative of myself in that wonderful, gentle way that we all need to be without shame.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I
mean
would,
that.
thank you. I would, Nick, I want to give you one of my books as well. I did sign it for you. I will inscribe it when we're done with the show.
Yes, of course.
And a lot of this, book 2 is done.
So to anyone still on my Facebook, it's called Dandelion, Death to Lefties, The Birth of HIM.
Thank you. You know, this is, book 2 is done. I just finished book 2 about a week and a half ago. That'll be out in August, National Lefties Day
Nice.
in August. You know, and a lot of the things I'm inspired by, because that you put forth when we have lived a life that has given us a speed bump. And it's not a wall, it is a speed bump, because we're going to learn something from this. We're going to know that when something happens tomorrow, we have learned yesterday how to accept that, how to be more knowledgeable within ourselves, because we know other people are watching. We know that somebody has been in our shoes. We know they have. We know that our children are watching, because one day they're going to mess up. Something is going to happen in their life, and they're going to say, how did my parent deal with this? How did my uncle, how did my dad's friend deal with this? Did they go off and jump off of a cliff? Or did they jump off a cliff with a parachute in
And a squirrel suit.
and a squirrel suit, and the people with them for the support? Like, hey, if you're going to do this, we're going to make sure that you're going to do this safely, because you're not getting hurt. We need that compassion, that even though things have happened in our lives, we have the loved ones that are not going to let us hurt ourselves.
For sure.
Ever.
Absolutely.
And anybody that knows me, anybody that has come in contact with me knows that if you need a shoulder, I got 2 of them. You need a hug, I got a 13-year-old that'll hug you until your legs fall off. And then when you're done gluing back on, I'll give you a hug. You know, like, we need more empathy in the world. And the fact that we have 4 men, 4 energies in this room right now, sharing a message of compassion, a message to grow the world. You don't need to be perfect, because not one of us is. We have all made mistakes, and we need to remember we are allowed to make those mistakes. But what are we learning from it? And are we making the same mistake over? How many times do we get married for the wrong reasons, thinking that it's the right one? 3, 4, 7?
As you were talking, I just wanted to finish with saying that I try very hard every day to learn something. Today I learned that I have sometimes overwhelmed people with informationally, like the phone call I had with a producer from New York today. I am just so overwhelming at times. And as I sat here throughout this whole program, the most gracious man in the room, Ben, his own platform being this radio station, hasn't once made me feel like he has lacked in his ability to be interjecting when it's your show, man.
It's our show.
I know that, but my point is, I felt that. And I thought, that quality needs to be something I have to work at. So I came here, and I try to do this every time, no matter if it's on my speech up in Medford on the 6th, or whether it's down in Los Angeles when I have a chance to perform in March. I want to learn something from the experience. And so for me, outside of our message to the world that's listening on the radio or anything else, I wanted to point something out to you. It takes a lot to not talk.
Thank you.
And that kind of grace doesn't go unnoticed by the people who oftentimes talk too much. So I always really want to make a point of whoever's in the room of saying to you, thank you so much for first and foremost bringing me here. It was a great honor, and I'd be able
Thank
to come
you.
back at any time.
Well-
And I love the fact that what you're trying to do is give yourself that purpose that this man was talking about. And if we can reach people on this platform tonight that really want to hear this, then that's what you really have struggled all those days preceding before. And I'm honored to be here for that. So thank you, Ben,
You're
and
very
Lime,
welcome.
especially you. boy.
Well, thank you so much. We've actually gone over by a minute or so, but thank you so much for joining DTL Radio. We'll be back next week. And remember our slogan: be the voice for help those left to be the voice for what's right. We'll see you guys next week. This is Danny Wine. Take care.
Thank you.
Goodbye, bye, bye. Facebook, goodbye, bye, bye.
You all have a wonderful
Take care,
evening.
guys.
Stay warm out there, and the rain is
Say
coming.
goodbye.